Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin Peters. I'm the Emergency Management Director for Leon County. This is our Tuesday, October 9, update press conference on Hurricane Micheal. Currently, Hurricane Micheal is in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. It's a 110 mile per hour Category 2 hurricane. It's almost a Category 3. We're expecting landfall tomorrow, Wednesday, near Panama City, Florida, as a Category 3 hurricane. For Leon County, we are currently under a hurricane warning, which means we can expect hurricane conditions within the next 24 hours. We are also under a flash flood watch due to the expectation of 4 to 8 inches over the next 24 hours as Micheal makes its approach. Hurricane Micheal is expected to be the strongest hurricane to hit our area of Florida since 1894. That's 100, almost 200 years since we've seen one this strong in our area. Again, our time is closing before we begin to expect the effects of tropical storm force winds. We may see those winds begin tonight sometime after 8 p.m. By tomorrow, Wednesday, we will see sustained tropical storm force winds with hurricane gusts beginning after midday and extending into the evening hours tomorrow. This is a very dangerous storm. We will have a day full of impacts expected as we move through Wednesday into Thursday. Now is the time to complete your preparedness activities if you have not yet done so. Now is the time to take action if you're going to leave our area or if you're going to take yourself and your family to a shelter. Now is the time to begin taking those actions. In the Emergency Operations Center, we've been working since Sunday with our local and state partners to coordinate this response. We've begun 24-hour operations as of 7 a.m. today. We have over 17 different entities in the Emergency Operations Center right now, from local, county, and state agencies to representatives from state agencies. We also have a representative with the National Weather Service on site to make sure we have the best weather information possible to keep our responders and our citizens and our entire community informed as this storm approaches. With that, we will turn it over to our community leaders for some additional comments. Up now is Chairman of the County Commission, Mr. Nick Maddox.
Thank you, Kevin. As you know, yesterday I declared a local state of emergency to help our community respond and recover from Hurricane Micheal. As Kevin mentioned, our region is bracing for life-threatening storm surge and hurricane-force winds. We strongly urge our residents to take all steps to preparing your families and helping your neighbors. Once our emergency operations center is now fully activated with more than 100 people and 25 agencies and organizations represented, all working around the clock and executing their emergency plans as we prepare, respond, and recover from this storm. For days, and I repeat, days ahead of the storm, Leon County has been coordinating closely with the state of Florida. We have requested bottled water for our citizens and trained medical staff for special needs shelters. We are also currently planning to host base camps operations for the state as they respond to needs across the region after landfall. Here are things that you and your family can do to prepare. Pick up sandbags in one of our 8 different sites across the county, and clear your yard of debris, objects that hurricane force winds can turn into missiles. A list of sandbag locations can be found on the county's website at leoncountyfl.gov/EI. Gather food and disaster supplies that will last each member of your family a maximum of 72 hours. A full list of critical supplies can be found at haveahurricaneplan.com. Download Leon County's Citizens Connect app to receive timely, vetted notifications with critical weather and service updates. Again, Leon County has issued a voluntary evacuation from mobile and modular homes. Seek more shelter immediately. And to assist those who are in need of safe shelter, Leon County has opened 5 risk shelters. Lawton Child's High Schools, that's pet accessible. Leon County Lincoln High School, Fort Brayton Elementary, Sell High School, and Godby High School, and one additional shelter for those with special medical needs. More shelters will be open if needed. Now is the time to make your decision to shelter or to stay in place, to leave or to stay. Don't wait for the winds to pick up. You do not want to be driving on the roads when Michael arrives. Further information on shelter openings and local services will be posted on both Leon County and the City of Tallahassee's websites. So as we prepare for the worst Michael has to offer, all of our citizens must stay informed and prepared for landfall and a long recovery. Remember, follow us on social media, listen to WFSU and other local radio stations, and again, check on your neighbors. More than anything, we need you to be prepared to stay informed. As you heard from Kevin, this hurricane will be the worst to affect our community in a generation. I'd like to turn over now to the mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to just quickly acknowledge we do have the county administrator, the city manager here, our City of Tallahassee Chief of Police, our Chief Gaines of the fire department, those folks representing our first responders team and community, as well as a number of our elected officials, my colleague, Commissioner Maddox, State Representative Ramon Alexander, our very own state senator, Senator Mumford, and obviously, I think, and you'll hear from the others, so they'll introduce themselves. It does go, frankly, without saying that we can't exclamation mark and underscore the importance of this storm and its storm preparation enough. I've already spoken to some people who keep saying, you know, I've heard this before, what makes this different? Well, you make those underestimations at your own risk. We are encouraging everyone to take this storm extremely seriously. We certainly are, and our community is ready. We are expecting a life-threatening event, and we are encouraging everyone to make their final preparations in order to stay connected. Not only our local news sources who have been doing an exceptional job getting out important information, you can also follow us at Digitale app. We're using the hashtag Michael, TLH, on social media as a way to aggregate any news and information that comes out about this particular storm. And obviously, our various social media accounts, which are all doing, I think, a very good job at keeping folks updated. We're encouraging all of our residents and citizens to look out for one another. Just today, our city leadership team, joined by Representative Osley, Alexander, and the superintendent, held a conference call with faith leaders, recognizing that they're, in many cases, the front door of communication to a lot of our residents and citizens, making sure that they're updated and kept informed. That comes on the heels of us meeting with neighborhood leaders just yesterday, as well as our nursing home and senior living facility leaders on yesterday. As it relates to the city of Tallahassee, we have requested mutual aid at its maximum level for our utility system. To give you an example, we have about 90 employees from day in and day out that work in our city utilities. We've requested a total of north of 500 assets to come in and support 6 times the number of folks who typically work on our system. I have no doubts that we'll be able to get our city back up and going after this storm has passed. But the most important thing for folks to do now is to take heed to our advice and make preparations. You are your best first responder. That means you've got to make preparations for yourself. Our emergency vehicles cannot roll once the wind gets above 35 miles per hour. It becomes unsafe for them, and that means you'll have to be able to tend to your needs in your own home until the storm event has passed. Electric has obtained 142 mutual aid personnel. About 100 of those personnel will be here on the ground today. In fact, we are receiving some this afternoon. 80 additional tree crews have been requested and are expected to arrive, as you can imagine, with a storm event like the one that we are expecting. There will be a lot of downed trees, which means folks are expected to stay in their homes, to stay in their shelters, to stay wherever it is that they are riding out this storm, as not to clog up our roads before our roads are ready to receive you. We do have in our possession over 70 generators. Those generators are chiefly going to be used and assigned to getting our traffic signals back up and again, trying to get us back to a sense of normalcy once the storm has passed. Until power is fully restored. FDOT, and I want to acknowledge their support, is sending 286 generators from Jacksonville. Those generators will be used for our traffic signals, and obviously will also be on hand to ensure that we don't have any failure of our sewer system. The state is also going to deploy 163 additional generators. We're also seeing additional generators from some of our partner communities surrounding this community. City Hall will be closed beginning at noon. Is closed today and will reopen, we expect, on Thursday. Parks and Recreations is also closed. Our solid waste will operate through the rest of today, and then they will no longer be operational until after the storm event has passed. The airport is expected to close today at midnight. And already a number of airliners are already canceling services. Star Metro will suspend all of its services beginning at 7 p.m. today, expecting that none of the wind conditions will reach 35 miles per hour prior to that point. Customer Services Call Center has been activated and will be in operation 24/7. First responders are active, but as I said before, we'll stand down as wind conditions reach north of 35 miles per hour. The good news is that over 10,000 sandbags have been picked up, but those sandbag locations are still available and active throughout the remainder of this day at Messer Park, Messer Field, Jack McLean, Winthrop, Lawrence Gregory Center. And we encourage people to go, again, and make preparations for that, as we do expect flash flooding conditions. The best way to know whether or not your area is susceptible to flooding is if during a normal storm event you have a gathering of water that puddles or that holes. You want to make sure you're taking the appropriate precautions to get those areas taken care of. Final supplies will be placed on site in between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. tonight. And then we're expecting overnight for most of our responses to hold, again, as the storm conditions begin to worsen, as we expect we enter into the later evening. And now with that, I want to yield the microphone to our Sheriff, Sheriff Walt McNeil.
Thank you, Mayor. I can't reiterate enough the comments already made about our citizens being prepared. Without question, as the storm approaches, that is perhaps the most important aspect of our preparations, is to make sure every citizen is doing what he or she needs to do to take care of their families. I want to assure you also that your law enforcement family, we are gathered and we are working in concert in terms of our preparation for this storm. The Tallahassee Police Department, with the leadership of Chief DeLeo, our fire chief, Chief Gaines, EMS with Chief Abrams, we are prepared and moving. Of course, you know that our response is primarily in recovery stage, and that's why it's so important that the citizens do what they need to do right now. Also, you should know that we are working hand in glove with the state of Florida. We have our staff embedded there at the state EOC, and we are in constant contact with the state emergency center. You should also know that we've made some phone calls to the Florida Highway Patrol. We want to make sure that their assets are available to us. In fact, there's indications that we will have some of the Florida Highway Patrol staff at our centers in terms of making sure the emergency centers that we have open for families to go to. We will make sure that either LCSO, TPD, or FHP is there to assist in making sure those shelters have law enforcement presence. Again, we are prepared. We are doing the things that we should do. We will be out there on the roads as long as the winds are at a level that is not dangerous to our deputies and our law enforcement and our first responders. But our citizens, we need you to stay off the roads as well when those winds start to pick up, so that we don't find ourselves in harm's way trying to go and recover you from a dangerous situation. So again, this is a community effort. You know, in the Tallahassee Police Department, the Leon County Sheriff's Office, all of us, we're all in on this effort, but we have to have our citizens all in as well. So as I close, I can't say enough about the emergency responding efforts that we have here in this consolidated dispatch center. I've walked around and seen the coordinated efforts that's taking place, and I can tell you, the citizens of Leon County, you should be very proud of the efforts that are being made. We are doing everything we can to make sure that we take care of Leon County, city of Tallahassee. And with that, you probably want to know what we're doing with our schools, and the best person to talk about that is our Superintendent, Rocky Hanna.
Thank you, Sheriff. I don't have any prepared remarks, but as someone who lived through Hurricane Kate, one of probably few people that are in this room today, in 1985, and saw the devastating effect it had on Tallahassee and Leon County, I felt like it was important that I reemphasize to those people that are out there just what the mayor and others have said. Now is the time to act. I made the decision yesterday to shut our school system down for the remainder of the week. So if you are in a home, and I've been around to all of our shelters we have open, I personally went around to all of them this morning. We've opened 5 so far, and we'll look to open some more this evening. If you are living in a home that you feel is not safe, please go to Lawton Childs High School, Lincoln High School, Godby High School, Sale High School, I'm getting ahead of you, Fort Braden Middle School, or the other shelters. We can replace property. We can rebuild property. We cannot replace human lives, plain and simple. But now is the time to do it. Do not wait until dark. Get out tonight and seek shelter. I just can't tell you how proud I am of our school administrators, Chief Hunkiar, Buddy Triquet, and others that have led this effort. Yesterday we were educating 34,000 students, and today we've turned those schools into emergency shelters to help the residents in Tallahassee and Leon County survive what's going to be, and I'm telling you guys, a horrific storm. It's setting up just like Kate did back in '85, and it had a devastating effect. So please, the sun's shining now, and the winds are not blowing, but they're coming. And I can't emphasize to you enough, please use one of our schools to protect you. This is your property that's paid for by your tax dollars. Take advantage of it. I have staff there now that are ready, willing, and able to assist you. I need to make one statement, though. Bring food. We have light snacks and waters. We do not have cots, and we only have light snack and water and restroom facilities. But those buildings are 100% safe. So if you're in an area, go by Publix, grab some food, get to one of our shelters before dark. And again, now's the time for us to come together as a community, is to put politics aside and all of the other nonsense. Now's the time. Help your neighbor, and let's stand as one. So thank you, and God bless you. And now I'll bring Kevin Peters back to close.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Very well said. The statements of being ready right now. And again, to reiterate, if you feel unsafe in your home, our shelters that are open currently: Childs High School, Godby High School, Sale High School, Lincoln High School, and Fort Braden K through 8 school in the Fort Braden community. Again, to summarize and review, this is the most extreme hurricane to hit our part of the state since 1894. We're expecting a Category 3 hurricane near Panama City. The time to act is now. Please take all steps to be prepared and be ready for this storm. With that will conclude our press conference this afternoon. All of our speakers will be available shortly for one-on-one interviews. Thank you.
Thank you.